What's good with the people, man? You know what I'm talking about? It's your partner, man. Who? It's your partner, man. You know what I'm talking about? How is y'all doing on this typical Tendencies Tuesday? Say, bro, what is you talking about? I'm going to get into it. I'm going to get into it. But before we do that, what's good, people like hee, ha, ha. You know what I'm talking about? Ken in the pen, man. Everybody that's incarcerated, everybody who ain't, man. Everybody on the bottom of that thing, everybody on the top of that thing. Keep that head up. Keep pushing. We going to get through it to get to it, man. You know what I'm talking about? Did I say Ken in the pen? I don't know, but if I didn't, go get that stick up in stores now, man. You can go and get you one off of 76 MacArthur. They sold out, but they'll be back. Giants Liquor is what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about, man? 82nd Hillside Barbershop. You know what I'm talking about? They say somebody put them in their stores in the hundreds. Thank you, young man. You know what I'm talking about now. You know, because I tell you every morning, you can come get them things from bro. You know what I'm talking about? How many you want? You know what I'm talking about? Did you see them? You know what I'm talking about? But if all else fails, you know what I'm talking about, you can go and get you one off of Amazon. Make sure you copy a hardback. You know what I'm talking about, man? Stick up in stores now. You know what I'm talking about? Make sure you go copy a hardback. You know what I'm talking about? Polka Dot Trying in stores now. Make sure you go to Amazon, copy a hardback. You know what I'm talking about? Stick Up 2 coming soon. Polka Dot Try 2 coming real soon. You know what I'm talking about? Uh-oh, what's that? Swing that finger, young man. You talking about that one right there? Yep, that's the one. Worldwide INC, man. Worldwide Incorporated. One more time for Worldwide. You know what I'm talking about? They gonna say, bro, what does that mean? I'm gonna continuously tell you it means everybody. You know what I'm talking about? And Dugu Fresh, Mike, Lil Roo, not Lil Roo, Lil Roo. You know what I'm talking about? Tata the player. That's who comes next, man. Same thing, bro. All my folks on the bottom of that thing, all my folks on the top of that thing. Keep that head up. Keep pushing. We gonna get through it to get to it, man. Now let's get through these disclaimers. Now, good brother, but before we do that, mama always says, brush them whiskers when you're on TV, boy. You know what I'm talking about, man. Coffee Chronicle. Classic roast. Piping hot. You know what I'm talking about? Now, let's get to the disclaimers. Now, good brother like myself, I don't promote no drug users. Good brother like myself, I don't promote no drug sellers. You know what I'm talking about? Good brother like myself, I don't promote no alcohol consumption. You know what I'm talking about? Don't take a sip. And I mean not a sip of the sippage. You know what I'm talking about? Good brother like myself, I don't promote no crime. Good brother like myself, I don't promote no violence. Good brother like myself, I don't promote no domestic violence. Keep your hands off the people. You know what I'm talking about? Don't, you know what I'm talking about? Promote, you know what I'm talking about? No. Negativity. Me, man, I don't promote shit. They was talking to me, man, I don't promote shit. You know what I'm talking about? Not shit. You know what I'm talking about? Nah, man, me. All I promote is y'all go ahead and do what you're going to do with your time, young ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you find the right thing to do with your time, young ladies and gentlemen, because we just don't know how much of it we got, young ladies and gentlemen. But a good brother like myself, you know what I'm talking about? I ain't prejudiced. You know what I'm talking about? Good brother like myself, you know what I'm talking about? I ain't got nothing against sexually different. You know what I'm talking about? Good brother like myself, I ain't got nothing against little people, you know what I'm talking about? Nah, you know what I'm talking about? Me, man, I ain't got no problems with nobody. You know what I'm talking about? They was talking to me, man, I just loves me some everybody. You know what I'm talking about? As a matter of fact, I'm on a quest. You know what I'm talking about? Bring that peace. You know what I'm talking about? That joy. You know what I'm talking about? That love. You know what I'm talking about? That love. Back to YouTube community, man. You with me? Come on over here. Fuck with your partner. Hey, check it out, man. Come fuck with a nigga one time. You know what I'm talking about? Man, how's y'all doing on this typical Tendencies Tuesday? Say, bro, what is you talking about? Typical tendencies, you know what I'm talking about? Shout out to everybody in the apartment with house shoes on. You know what I'm talking about? Home is where the heart is. Yeah, I see you fucking, you know what I'm talking about? That's gonna be a real short one. Say typical tendencies, what you talking about, bro? Now, I done told y'all, you see, yesterday was a mockery. It was Mockery Monday. You know what I'm talking about? All this old big old mockery they done made up out this shit. See, See, in typical tendencies, it goes something like this. You know what I'm talking about? It got it all shit runs together. You know what I'm talking about? All that shit is connected. You know what I'm talking about? You get typical tendencies from the mockery. You know what I'm talking about? So now in the days that we living in of the mockery, you get the typical tendencies that come along with that shit. You say, bro, what's the typical tendencies that come along with that shit? That shit they instilling in y'all now. Or I gotta say us, you know what I'm talking about? That stuff they instilling in us now, you know what I'm talking about? Because if you living in the mockery, you already know what comes with it. The typical tendencies, you know what comes along with that shit. Being fake, you know what I'm talking about? Being fake but saying you real. Lying, deception. You know what I'm talking about? The 5-finger discount. Stealing, lying, and all that treachery. You know what I'm talking about? That come with them the typical tendencies. You know what I'm talking about when you living in the mockery, man. When you're living in the mockery, those are the typical tendencies. So now what is happening, you know what I'm talking about? As you trying to live your little old life, guess what you got to deal with, you know what I'm talking about? All this treachery. You know what I'm talking about? Because the way they got the game now, bad boy, we're just running around, you know what I'm talking about, with the typical tendencies. The lying, you know what I'm talking about? The cheating, the stealing, you know what I'm talking about? The 5-finger discount. You know what I'm talking about, man? And all that shit right there, man. And all that shit just typical, man. It just is, man. Because once I told y'all, my daddy used to get tired of me, and I understand now. Because right now, I get tired of that shit. You know what I'm talking about? That shit irritates the fuck out of me. But it's just ignoring and irritating as a motherfucker. You see, like I told you, I got the ability to break game down while it's being around, right? So when the motherfucker come around and just get to spewing out all them lies and shit, and you looking at a motherfucker like, come on, bro, you just can't expect me to be that stupid. You know what I'm talking about? And that's the irritating part. It ain't even that they lie. You know what I'm talking about? So you just been better off telling me the truth. You get what I'm saying? Because all that old other shit, man, is just like you insulting the nigga intelligence. You know what I'm talking about? And we do that a lot on this earth. We insult other people's intelligence. You know what I'm talking about? I did that one time. Fuck with my nigga Hand. Shout out Hand, man. One of my closest friends. You know what I'm talking about? My OG partner. You know, we out there. I think I got a story about this. You know what I'm talking about? We out there drunk one time. You know, I'm in the passenger seat. You know what I'm talking about? I just happened to look over there to the ignition, the keys in the ignition. Guess what they playing, y'all? You know what I'm talking about? Some of that old school masterpiece shit. Who that say they want to do that, brother? Oh, man, baby, cuz they caught the spirit like this. Somehow I jumped from the passenger seat to the driver's side seat. You know what I'm talking about? Somehow I just started the car off and took up, right? Now, in the process of me taking off, I wasn't even gone that long. It didn't seem like I was going that long, you know what I'm talking about? But because probably was going for a minute, man. I told you I slide through Greenside, I try to pick my partner up, you know what I'm talking about? He wasn't out there, you know what I'm talking about? So I'm just riding around. Guess what I done did, y'all? When I started Greenside, I went and got me a beer, you know what I'm talking about? I went and got me an old 40 ounce. So I'm driving around this man shit, he ain't got liquor L's. Man, they ain't got a lick of L's. Now I'm driving around hitting corners, you know what I'm talking about? I done spilled the beer, you know what I'm talking about? I done hit a bump or something. Beer done spilled. I'm sitting over there trying to get the beer up off this man's seat. I turned around, ran straight into the back of Wood. Bam, Wood was parked. You know what I'm talking about? I get on up out of there though, you know what I'm talking about? Now, in the process of me running in the Wood, I knocked this man's whole front headlight out, right? And I just come back and park. Man said, what happened to my headlight? And I said, I don't know. You know what I'm talking about? The type of shit right there, man. They should have whooped my ass out there. God damn. But I got a player partner. He wasn't even tripping, man. You know what I'm talking about? I got a player partner, man. Wasn't even tripping. Just knew his brother was on one. But that's the type of typical tendencies. I shit right there, man, came back, told that man I don't know what happened to his head. Like, you know what I'm talking about, man? Just playing, you know what I'm talking about? Man, a whole turd shit knocked me on top of my head. Shout out guys for dealing with their partner, you know what I'm talking about. But that shit right there. I left with your headlights, came back, and only had one, you know what I'm talking about, but I don't know what happened. And there be a lot of that shit going on right now in the dark, you know what I'm talking about, typical tendencies. And although this might just be a stage you got to go through in your life, man, because we all don't start off good and we all don't start off bad. You know what I'm talking about? You just end up where you end up at from the shit you go through. You know what I'm talking about? Either you can take it or you can't. You know what I'm talking about? And sometimes when you can't take that shit, you know what I'm talking about, you might respond a little bit different. You know what I'm talking about? But typical tendencies, man. When you living in the mockery, I keep telling y'all, genuine people hard to come by. But now everybody practicing this shit anyway, you know what I'm talking about? So you gotta be real careful on the label you give a motherfucker. Friend, you know what I'm talking about, and all that shit right there, man. You gotta just be careful. Or you don't. But when you trying to be genuine, and you go step foot in the game, and all you got is motherfuckers with that treachery, and them typical tendencies, all that lying, you know what I'm talking about? Deception, all that treachery, the 5-finger discount, all that stealing and shit like that there, bro. You know what I'm talking about? That shit'll make it hard for you to deal with people, man. But once again, if you want them genuine people, you just can't let that shit get to you. It's just typical tendencies, man. You already see it. You already know what's coming. You get what I'm saying? So don't be surprised. And I think with the typical tendencies, that'd be the problem right there. Because sometimes we be knowing the motherfucker just full of shit, you know what I'm talking about? But we be rooting for them, don't we? Like, maybe this time they just not full of shit. When in the back of your head, you know, they just a fool of it, ain't they? You know what I'm talking about? But you just a rooting for them, you know what I'm talking about? Just they chance to come from the dark side. And what they do, they try to pull you a little bit further into the dark side, don't they? You know what I'm talking about? 5-finger discount. I'll get it, you know what I'm talking about? And that's people, that's what's gonna be fucked up. I keep telling y'all they sliding all these invisible havers in on us. That's gonna be the part that fucked up right there, though. When we just get in the big old game of you just got to keep your eyes on everybody. You get what I'm saying? Because everybody, this shit gonna be like the Purge, bruh. I'm telling you, this shit gonna end up like the Purge. There was a reason they showed you that movie. Yeah, I'm telling you, it was a reason they showed you that shit. But this shit gonna get like this, bruh, where you just don't know who the fuck to trust. You know what I'm talking about? You can't even give a motherfucker the benefit of the doubt no more. Because they got them firepower. They got them typical tendencies, man. They got them typical tendencies, man. And you be looking around, and you be trying to give a motherfucker a chance. You get what I'm saying? Coffee Chronicles. But the fucked up thing about that right here is you can't even blame yourself, folks. You can't like change people if that's what people want to do. You know what I'm talking about? All the deception. You know what I'm talking about? The line. You know what I'm talking about? The 5-finger discount. You know what I'm talking about? With motherfuckers around with all that shit right there, there's nothing you can do about that shit, bro. All you could do is ever be you, man. That's all you ever be able to do is be you. Now, who you is up to you. You know what I'm talking about? Whoever you is up to you. You know what I'm saying? But on this terrible tendencies, not terrible tendencies, some tendencies, typical tendencies. You know what I'm talking about? Are you the one with the typical tendencies? You feel me? Are you the one riding around, rolling around Earth? You know what I'm talking about? Lying. Hey, you know what I'm talking about? The deception, the 5-finger discount. You know what I'm talking about? Nephew, sis, old man, old lady. Hey, you know what I'm talking about? Is that you? Do you have the typical tendencies? Are you one of the motherfuckers who exhibit the typical tendencies, but then you the one who spot all you talking about what you don't like? But you pointing out all the shit you don't like about yourself. You know what I'm talking about? The 5-finger discount. You know what I'm talking about? You one of the motherfuckers that be stealing and doing all that shit. See, I be looking for the friends, man, that fuck with it like me. Like if a nigga had to leave out the room, he got all kind of shit on the table, pounds, money and shit. Nigga could come back and he could still have all his belongings intact. You feel what I'm saying? It's just me. I don't know. I just try to give motherfuckers what I want. You get what I'm saying? I don't want to have to watch you around my house, folks. You get what I'm saying? I don't even want you around me. And in the back of my head, I know you on something scandalous. You know what I'm talking about? Because that's how the back door come in. You know what I'm talking about? I don't know. I don't know. You know what I'm talking about? But I don't want to come around a motherfucker and that shit be in the back of my mind. Because everybody see this shit we call life different. You get what I'm saying? They just do. And you don't never know what opportunity means something to somebody else. You know what I'm talking about, man? You just don't. So on this thing that we call Earth right here, man, I don't know. Typical Tendencies Tuesday it is. You feel me? What type of tendencies do you got? I don't know what kind of tendencies you got, bro. I only know the ones I got. You know what I'm talking about? But on this Typical Tendencies Tuesday, man, y'all know we living in the mockery. You know we is. You feel me? So, I said all that to say, man, it still boils down to you checking yourself, folks. You know what I'm talking about? Because it's easy for you to see what's going on, you know what I'm talking about? Because that's what we all do as people. We just look at what's going on, you know what I'm talking about? But rarely do we ever look at what's going on with us. You know what I'm talking about, man? You got to check yourself, man, before you can check somebody else. Coffee Chronicles. And if you ever just took the time out just to check yourself a little bit, you might realize you out there and indulging in some stuff that you ain't even proud of. You know what I'm talking about? Coffee Chronicles. But on this Typical Tendencies Tuesday, what's yours? What kind of tendencies do you got? Is you that jealous, spiteful motherfucker? You know what I'm talking about? Is you that motherfucker who really don't want nothing, but you'll be damned if somebody else gets something when you don't want it? You know what I'm talking about? I don't know. What's your tendencies, man? How you operate on Earth? You know what I'm talking about? Do the people love to see you coming? Do they love to see you going? Coffee Chronicles. Do you try to help people? Or do you talk about the people that need help? I don't know. I don't know your tendencies. You know what I'm talking about? I just don't know. Do you got some tendencies that go along with living in this mockery? You know what I'm talking about? Or do you try to keep the thing play at all times, man? I don't know. I just know what I do. You know what I'm talking about? Nephew, sis, old man, old lady. You know what I'm talking about? And with that one right there, if you don't remember nothing else, always remember, it don't cost nothing. Just to show a little bit of that love.